Here is where they weave the dreams that are in the heads of the beasts that they make. Sometimes those dreams are crafted with magic, but they always make them with peace, because they are truly artisans at their job. This is a very fun world, but as you'll notice, there are a lot of pits around, because it's mostly floating ledges at this point, and a lot of the enemies are going to get pretty weird, as you may have already seen with the shrink and growth ray. It's best to take on the enemies when they're small, but that's not always possible, so we're going to be very careful about how we advance around here. And up first, we'll have Dark Passage, later on, of course. Here's the thing that gives you butterflies here, these little bouncing mushrooms. They're all over the place. Told you Dreamweaver was a pretty weird place, but it also has probably my single favorite song in the entire game, so I cut it a lot of slack. See, these guys that are big and have the metal skirts or whatever, you only want to charge them when they're small, because a big metal enemy spells trouble. Yikes, yes. That's quite a waterfall there. How's that happening? Well, at least it's flowing downward. It's not doing anything too crazy. And we're going to see a lot of these trays that have sparkly whirlwinds in them and help us glide over. These guys are not going to be affected by the shrink cannon that's in the middle of the world here. We're going to have to man the shrink cannon ourselves to take them down, because that guy is a little smarter than to fire at these dudes. But he will generally turn to wherever we are and make enemies big as a way of making life pretty inconvenient for us. A lot of gems hanging around the edges of ledges here, so it's good to have sparks with you. There we go. Just making sure my microphone is on, because I've had some spectacularly bad luck with that recently, as we all know. Okay, and before we rescue our first dragon of the day, we'll go ahead and get that. Now we're already on that dragon. Latif. Oh yeah, they have really weird names here.
Welcome to the Dreamweavers, young one. While chasing Nasty's minions in this world, you must expect the unexpected and prepare for what is not there.
Yeah, they have weird names, but at least they're not the Magic Crafters dragons. That's all I'll say about them. Lofty Castle. Oh yeah. There's some fun stuff there as well. Let's make our way around the pond here. Oh yes, and how nice of them to put charging chests. We're going to be very careful, very safe here. We're not going to do anything drastic. Might move a little slow today because of the way there's no kind of protective railing in any of these Dreamweaver levels. Oh, hey, no. Wow, that's quite a pimp slap you've got there, Mr. Metal Man. Okay. Nice little line to knock them into, and that hallway over there leads to the balloonist for this world, who will take us on to what's going to be the final world. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we are nearing the end of the game here. Thank you, Sparks. And on the way up the steps is going to be Jacques, the boss for the Dreamweaver world. And on our way to meet the balloonist, what do we have to do to get Amos to take us to the final world? Oh, well, we've already collected enough treasure. We are going to stay here, Nasty's world. It's so nasty, it's named after Gnasty. So we're going to float on over here. You basically just want to float in sequence until you get to the shrink cannon. And then you can do fun things once you get to there. And the shrink cannon guy will basically follow you around. Ow! Shrink cannon guy will basically follow you around, as you can see. Basically, whenever we get to a new place, there he is to turn around and make enemies big. I wish I could run into one of those mushrooms right now. They're not as abundant as I seem to remember them being. Ah, here we go. Now we can get rid of this tool. So yeah, it's just like it's basically just like the Peacekeeper cannon, except it's a little weirder on a more magic-y level than that other one was. We don't want to go over there just yet to that guy. We got things to do around here. Particularly, here is the notable thing you want to do around here. You can totally make other enemies small if you want. And we got some big enemies over there, so we will want to make them small, just kind of as a precautionary thing. He's already small, he is big, so just flame it like you would the Peacekeeper cannon. There we go. Now we're going to turn around, we're going to get these guys, who the shrink cannon manner normally ignores, and that way we can charge through them. But first, before we go over there, we ought to go back to around Dark Passage or thereabouts, and pick up at least a little bit of health. And now what awaits us over here now that we are such geniuses that we've made this area logistically available to us. Okay, if I can jump over your dead metal corpse, that'd be nice. What's up the way? Anything to our left? Nope. Just this railing, pretty much. And up and along. Alright, these guys. These little guys running around that have fairy wings, they look kind of like a really, really, like, bad impression of Tingle. They are called the Fools. And when you torch a fool or charge into him, he will sit still and freeze. He'll usually turn into a clock that will make a platform like this temporarily rise. And you'll have to, oh, they're very close together. Let's try to get both of them at the same time. Okay, yeah, see, he turns into a clock, so we have a very limited amount of time to get from one ledge to the next, because when the alarm clock buzzes, the platform will fall. But there we had a pretty lenient time limit there, so not too worried about that one. Okay, good, I was standing far enough away there. Very happy about that. And over here, is this the haunted... No, this is Icy Flight. We haven't run into the haunted towers yet. That's the other subworld that's located here. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself talking about other subworlds before we get to them, but we want to be particularly wary of the haunted towers because there's a really nasty portion there, and it doesn't look like it's going to let us float back to where it, well, basically it did. I just kind of want to get back up the balcony and go down the stairs, but I guess it's not going to let me do that. I say, fie on you, Dreamweaver World. I always want to say Dreamkeeper World, but I'm getting it mixed up with Peacekeepers when I do that. This is the Dreamweaver World. Dreamweaver, like the Gary Wright album with Love is Alive. And turn it around, turn this thing around, and wow, what a weird place for a dragon to be sitting all by himself.
Hello, Spyro. Nicely done. I'll be done when I've toasted that nasty Nork.
What was that I was saying about these guys aren't like the magic crafters? Yeah, I guess we can basically forget that. Although with a name like Zakomo, you could probably guess he'd be a little on the weird side, of course. I usually miss gyms over here. Whenever I miss gyms, it tends to be over here. I'll like miss some in a corner or something. Oh, hey, you. Don't want you kicking me off to the side. There we go. There's Haunted Towers right there. We'll be doing that one, I think we'll do that one second. Yeah, these are usually the gyms I miss right here around this corner, so I'm extra careful to check around there. And behind Haunted Towers, nothing. But it looks like we're going to run into more fools. And now the ones we do here, the ones we torch here, they're going to lower the platform, hopefully. Yep, there you go. And you don't have very long to get to that one, you see. They're already making you get used to it. So, you know the drill by now. You know how the fools work. They expect you to work them in kind, in an expert fashion. And is 300 gems going to be it for this homeworld? Wow, yeah it is. Wow, I thought it would take a little longer than that, quite frankly. So let's end our day with Mozzie.
The fools you see in this world are invincible. But that does not mean they shouldn't be attacked.
Sounds alright to me.
Sounds like profiling to me. Okay, well, Sparks is at full health, so that's good, and all the enemies are gone for the time being. Get out of my way, fool. Okay, and I think there should be a way to make it back to the, okay, I'm fairly certain there's a way to make it back to the beginning from here. Beginning is off over there somewhere, but... And there's no fairies to save me, so where am I going here? I think I'm going to want to go over here. These little floaty, sparkly whirlwinds, I think, are going to take us back. Yeah, here we go. This is how you get back to the beginning of the Dreamweaver world. See, it can be very difficult to find your way around because so many different altitudes and whatnot. But it looks like we've solved everything to solve here for today. So when we take off tomorrow from this spot, we will examine Dark Passage in great detail. See you then.